welcome back to the Divine Law Podcast. On this week's episode, I'm joined by my good friend EthanTorrance, and we mainly talk about football, but we dive into how events around football have made us learn and grow in other areas of our lives, and how we've been reunited as well in the last couple of years. So, yeah, hope you enjoy. It's going to be a good episode, and I'll see you all next week. Business. Hello, Ethan.
Hi, E.T.
How you doing?
Good day.
You're just going to refer to me as ET because it makes it a bit easier.
Can I do that?
You can do it.
Just rolls off the tongue.
After this point, there's no need to refer to anyone as anyone because we've established that.
We've established that. We are both Ethan.
Yeah, both Ethan, but we're doing well.
Yeah.
So, we met in some weird circumstances.
We did, actually.
Yeah, very, and funny enough, we're now, 6 years?
Yeah.
6 years on?
6, 7, I think, yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's mental.
That's crazy to think about. Yeah, so you were at the club before I joined.
I was.
But we met playing football.
We did.
How long were you there before I joined? Were you there a while?
I think it was about a year. We were so bad.
I know, I remember we beat you 15-2 or something
Really
like that.
bad.
Yeah.
I actually went there for the pro youth. It was S1.
That's why
First year high school.
jokes as well. Yeah, so I was playing for Arnold and I got an email from Alan Shanksels at the time.
Was it? Aye.
Yes, it was Alan that tried to get me on board.
Yep.
Or got me on board, I should say.
It was the start of the revolution.
And I thought, when I got that email through, I thought it was pro youth.
Yeah.
I thought it was I was like, oh my god, there's no way Sterling Abbey have just went and asked me to play for them. And I showed up to training and I realised it was a community team that I just beat 15-0 last season. Yeah. And I was like, But, as you know, I ended up staying because, one, the manager, Alan, he was, compared to the manager I had beforehand, he was just one of the parents who had a passion about football. And he was a great guy. Yeah. And I also learned everything I knew about football to that point from them.
Yeah.
I started playing football really late for most people. I was 11, 12 when I started playing football.
I know,
which is real late for most people.
Yeah, true, actually.
Most people I knew started playing football from 7, 8, the latest. But for me, I did gymnastics.
So yeah. Oh god.
Did gymnastics till I was 10, and I enjoyed it. But see, when I look back at it, I was like, oh, I actually they were horrible to me. They treated because they have such a high expectation in gymnastics. And you have to be an elite level. Every movement you make is precise. It's a bit like dance in that sense.
Yeah.
Some dance or fighting as well. I know a couple people that do mixed martial arts and it's really intensive and they're really hard on you. And gymnastics is surprising, or for me it was where I was surprisingly the same. So they would only really give full attention to those that they were oh, this person's gonna be good.
I suppose you get that with individual sports.
100%, yeah. Whereas, but then when I went to football, it was a team sport, so it was a very different dynamic for me. And I took to it very quickly. And I realised that I was much more at home as part of a unit than I was as an individual. I think that was probably through my self-confidence at the time, the age, and you're doing stuff as an individual is a lot harder for you to feel motivated. Whereas if you have a team that are all motivating each other, which we had perfectly at one point in time, you definitely get into that kind of space of stuff just starts falling. So for me playing football, I think I played 2 seasons in October with the October football team.
Yeah, because of that, you were 11 you started.
Yeah. First season, I was horrendous. I didn't know, I could pass a ball alright, but everything else I was working on, I played right back, you know. But for everyone that doesn't. So, the reason I liked playing at the back, and I still do so much, is because I can read the game really well. I can see everything in front of me. And I have a very good understanding of where something should be and where it shouldn't. And I also I like playing on my right foot because I can't. No left foot to save my life.
Just for standing in it.
Just for standing and planting. That's about it. We ain't doing anything else with it. So yeah, I like playing balls in that right hand side.
Yeah.
But second season at Oxford, they made me the captain because I was vocal and I was a good leader. And that's when I really started to realise that being part of a team and my leadership qualities really came through more than anything. And that's where I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself in that kind of aspect of my life, which I've now taken forward into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But the leadership was big for me, and then after, it wasn't even a season at Sutton Albion. I think it was like 6 months. I made the captain as well, and me and David rotated for a good bit.
He did. And then he went.
And then David, did he?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he went.
St.
Where did he
General.
go? St. General.
Sure.
And then I was the captain from there.
Yeah.
And then towards the.
Alex.
Yeah, no, we rotated.
We rotated.
It was me, you, and Jamie.
Surprisingly,
Jamie.
Which, but
whoa,
that's a different topic.
violent, man. I don't.
Different topic.
He's gonna be watching this man. Yeah, no, you're right though. But yeah, like the leadership stuff for me is like, I love that. I love like and it's natural to me. It comes so naturally. The ability to motivate other people around me, and in the correct ways as well. Because you see so many people that do it in the wrong ways, through negativity, and like you're doing shit, get your finger like. And there's a time and a place to be assertive, and there's a time and a place where like you have to be like, look, like you need to stop messing about. If someone's really taking the piss.
Yeah.
But if someone's trying and they're putting an effort, I'll never put you down. If you are giving me what is your 100%, even if you're 100% compared to someone else's like they're 25, if it's your 100%, I'm good. Like we are all good. But if you're not going to give me 100%, like I understand that if you're having an off day, you have an off day.
Yeah.
Like, there are going to be days where you can only give me 60, 70 because of like external factors, and that's the case. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Like, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But especially because I'll come and ask you first if you like. But when you're consistent, I won't name names, but you know who I'm talking about when I say this.
Yeah.
We had players that were consistently didn't put in effort. And I think that shows in all areas of life as well, not just football. You take it away from football, and if you're gonna put 100% or like you give it your all for that day, you know that you've tried your best. And there's no one that can be upset or annoyed, especially yourself. For me, I went to every game, and if I didn't give 100% by the end of that game, I'd beat myself up heavily. Like I would walk off the pitch and I knew I was like, I could have done a bit more. Like there's always that kind of thing, especially when we lost. Like, but now I'm at a very different stage where I'm like, like it's alright.
Yeah.
Like I can learn from him more than anything.
Yeah. I feel like for the people, if you back then when we lost something like heady or like it was a game we shouldn't have lost at all, and you didn't feel like passionate about that loss, and I'd look around and see people in changing rooms still like having a good laugh and stuff. That would annoy me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I did love my football.
Yeah.
And it would just really annoy me when I see that, because I'm like, you don't really want to be here like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's very hard for us to say because like the level we played football at, it's not a high level. It's not a high level of football. In saying that, we did well at our level. Yeah. We did extremely well at the level we played at, and I think for sure we had. I would say there was about 5 or 6 of us, both of us included. I would say, especially in the league, the season where we won the cup, could easily have played at a higher level. And I'm not just saying that like to my own harm, but like, and again, it came down to one thing: work rate. And it came down to how hard we all worked as a unit.
Yeah,
I think me, you, David, Niven, 100%, Lewis. Lewis Young to this day.
He should not be in our team.
I think he plays Pro Youth now for Sutton Albion. But to this day, he's the most complete football player I've seen play. I've played with.
He was very quiet.
Real quiet, never spoke. And if he built that confidence, which I hope he has now, I really do, because I really like Lewis. I hope he's done. I've always done well for himself. His brother was good as well. He had an older brother who's I believe he played in goals for a bit. Good player. But yeah, but that comes to like a self-confidence thing where we're now at now. So yeah, we played 5 seasons together? Yeah. 4 seasons?
So have you started second year?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Oh, maybe 4 seasons.
4 seasons together. Yeah. Maybe. And throughout that time we had 5, 6 different coaches.
We did.
Which is a lot to go through. So started off when I joined, it was Alan.
Yeah. Before that, it was one of the dads. I can't remember who it was.
Was it not Gregor's?
Willie.
Where was
Willie?
Yeah, Willie. What a character, innit?
He was brilliant.
What a character. Proper old school. Didn't give a fuck.
No. That was good. I miss those days.
But Willie was still there when Alan was there.
He was.
He came in and then he got well, didn't he? I think he got on well though, did he not?
Oh shit.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
But for me, Alan was easily the best coach we've had. And it's because he had expectations and he knew for a fact he could win stuff.
Yeah.
And he took it more seriously, which I liked. I liked the fact that he because I'm like, which made so much sense to me. I'm like, if we're all going to come here and we're going to spend our time, like, it's great fun and we all love playing football, but if we're going to spend our time training, we may as well do it properly.
Yeah.
And I never got the whole idea of like, if we're going to go do this, half-arsing it. It made no sense to me. I'm like, if we're gonna play football in a competitive environment, why would you not want to win? Why would you not want to do your best?
And I think that shows when I wasn't there. When you left, it just went down.
100%. But there was moments where it picked up again. So like when Sarah popped in, it dropped, and I'm not saying that it's down to her purely, but and I liked her. I like her as a person. I think she's a lovely person, but she didn't have that same like desire to win. Also based off her skill set, like she up until that point, because I know this because she used to coach my younger brother. She'd only coached very young kids.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't think she was suited to us.
No, under the age of 12, and to come in to go from like teaching kids under the age of 12 to teaching a group of under would have been under 18s. It would have been under 18s of teenage boys.
And she's still like going.
When
she's doing.
Yeah.
Still going through her.
Yeah, she was still doing all her coaching badges and stuff. When you go to do it, don't get me wrong, that's probably been a great learning process for her.
Yeah.
100%. But when you jump in like that, like it's a very hard environment to come into when you have like 20 teenage boys who have already, most of them, or not most of them, but a good core group of them have already had success. And then you have the other half of them that aren't pulling their weight. Not half, but like there was a good number of them, especially towards the end when they brought in boys from other teams, and like
we went through a lot of players.
We went through a lot, which I forget. I really forget how many.
I forget some of them. I do.
But what I always say is there was always that core. There was always that group that kind of always carried through. I remember Alan Shanks, I think, is the main reason that core was in place. I don't think because he brought in a lot of the good.
He did.
Core players.
I don't blame them for going because they
100%. Like 100% they were better players. Like Aiden, and remember Aiden?
Aiden and Ryan on the wings.
Aiden and Ryan, both exceptional players.
I think they're still playing.
I know Aiden does because I go on a Snapchat. I see that he plays now. I've not spoken to him in a long time. But yeah, it was a really interesting thing to see people coming and going like that.
Yeah.
And to be in that environment where like the one thing I really didn't like about the club, and I'm not having to do with the manager, but the club and the way they wanted to run the club, was the whole everyone has to play.
Yeah, I agree. That takes the competitive.
It takes the competitive out of it.
I hate that.
I have no problem going. Everyone can have an opportunity to play if everyone's putting the same work rate in. But you'd have players who would bust their ass in training, like do so much, and then not even get half a game because they have to play everyone. I'm like. It's different if you're at like the under 12s level and you're like learning to play football. Everyone has to get a rotation. Everyone has to start. It's not that a competitive environment. When you're playing under 18s, it's a competitive environment. You want to win, and it's so frustrating for everyone in that team that's putting in the work. Because that's why I really lost love with it, and I ended up leaving. Is because I'm like I bust my ass every week when I came to training. Last year I wasn't as much because I lost the passion for it because there was not that desire to win anymore from the team. But so when you have players in the team that aren't pulling their weight and you are, it's like you get this whole mindset of why am I trying here? It makes no sense. Like why am I putting in all this work to have 4 boys in front of me not chasing the ball? When I just went and worked more stuff to get back, it made no sense to me, and that's why I lost touch with it. But for segmenting from that, you have a very different approach to the game because of your position and where you played, and it's for me it's real interesting because it's completely different thing altogether. Playing in goals, and by all means speak on it.
I went through a whole load of my football career, you could say, of just learning how to deal with, because if you made a mistake, if players made a mistake, it often wouldn't lead to a goal. But when I made a mistake, it's the back of the net. We're 1-0 down.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's my fault. That's what I'd always think. And just the growth for me for the years of playing, I've learned, and from not even playing football, just in general, is when I do make mistakes, like fuck.
Yeah.
We're back.
You're good.
But the thing for me is throughout the years of playing football, is I've learned obviously just keep my head up. It's happened. There's nothing I can do about it. We're going to just keep going with it. I think I learned that throughout even not playing football as well, and just general mistakes in life.
I was about to say that, like the skills that you need to have that, and because like you say, for an outfield player it's very different because although there's pressure, different for defenders. I feel.
Yeah.
I think the people who really get it the easiest are your forwards, because when they make a mistake, you have 3 layers of a team that it falls back on. But when your defence makes a mistake, or you make a mistake, it's very much more individualised.
Yeah.
But like you said there, that falls through to all areas of life so much well, like so unbelievably, like almost perfectly, the way you deal with situations, which is, when I look back at football, obviously we're just getting back into ourselves, but we'll get into that later on. But when I look back at football, the amount of stuff and lessons I've learned about controlling emotion and understanding what emotion is. And although in the moment and when I'm playing I don't realise these things, when I look back and I evaluate like how it was, the amount I really learned that I've taken out into all aspects of my life. And I think this goes for anyone that plays sport at any competitive level. You have to have these, like, it's like a disconnect. You'll go, right, a mistake was made, but we have to move forward.
Yeah.
Exactly, no, like you cannot change it. And then when you do spend, and I know this very well because I did it, and you know how well you did as well. When you do spend your time, like, just overly obsessing on that mistake, and you just keep going back to it. But what it does is it allows you not to be present to continue to move forward. And keep. So like if you made a mistake early in the game at one point in time, that was you fucked for the game.
I was bad for that.
It was
really
bad. You were. But you're not the only one. Like I was when I started as well. Everyone goes through that, but we learn and we move forward.
And I think that's with the team dynamic as well. Is when being a leader yourself as a captain, is when it did happen to me, or anyone on the park, as you always just pick us back up. That's what I noticed.
I really appreciate that, but that was my thing. Like, and see now, having learned what I've learned, not only in the last 2 years, but playing football as a whole, the mindset in which you have to have going into a game, and how you motivate a team to play in a way in which is beneficial for everyone, has to be nothing but positivity. It has to be nothing but positivity, and but it also comes from preparation as well. Like if you have 2 shit training sessions during the week, you're not going to go out there and play your best. You're just not. And that goes for anything in life, like the way you prepare for something. So like, for a great example is like this podcast for me. I know what I want from the podcast, just the same way as I know what I want from football. I want to win.
Yeah.
Like although the idea of winning for me surrounding this podcast is a very different thing. Like my outcome, what I want from it is really to inspire people, motivate people in a certain way, and get them to affect change in their lives.
Yes.
Like that's what I want from it. Whereas football is winning. So you have your goals and your aspirations. But then you have, well, how do you get there? How do you go about it? You have to be consistent and show up every week for a start. And like you can miss a week here and there. It's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah. It's all right. And you can't bug yourself when you do miss a week. It is what it is. And sometimes you miss a week because you have no control over it, like you're not well or whatever it is, or you're feeling down. But just showing up isn't enough. You have to have a plan in place. How can you best use your time when you're showing up?
You'll feel better when you get in a routine.
Exactly. So the preparation comes into it. So like for football, the preparation would be showing up at training, giving my all in training, making sure that what I'm being asked to do, I'm doing it to the best of my ability at that time. Even though sometimes like the best of your ability is not going to be great. You're not going to make the pass perfect every time in a drill. But if you try to do it, your intention's there, and your intention is like, I'm constantly trying to grow and make better, which then passes over to in the podcast side of things.
It goes to everything.
Yeah, exactly. Everything in life. So it's the same fundamentals throughout, and it's not just literally say like every single thing in life has the same fundamentals. Persistence and being patient as well. Like being patient is so important, especially in football. Like when I started, for example, I was terrible. If I wasn't patient in the process of like, all right, I'm not going to be good next week, I have to constantly put in the work. Most people would, like, when they pick up something, they try it for a bit and they go, I'm terrible at this. and like I enjoy it, but I'm terrible at this, and I give up on it because they're not patient in the fact that progress comes over in time. Like it's not an overnight thing.
Exactly.
Even though you're always making progress, and you're in a sense you're making progress overnight by constantly wanting to go and do it. But like when it comes to especially a physical skill, where you're like passing a ball, for example, like, you're not gonna just be able to pick up a ball and pass it perfectly.
No.
You got to work hard.
Exactly.
Exactly. Same with anything in life, which is great.
100%.
But going back to goalkeeping, I think a lot of other things that I really like about goalkeeping. My big brother's a goalkeeper, which you know, because he coached you for a little bit as well.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
He is truly amazing. I think you would agree with that as well. He's a good reason about why I have the work ethic I have, especially surrounding football. I mean, you'll remember that season where pre-season, holy shit,
that was tough.
I've still to this day, and that'll change.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. Where we're going now.
That was on the hockey pitch. Fourth Bank. So it would have been.
No, it wasn't. Was it Fourth Bank? No, it was.
No.
No. It was. What is the name of that school? Jimmy Boyce School. St. Bonnet's. Yeah. The Catholics.
Yeah.
Oh, we're joking. We're really joking. We love everyone. We're really joking.
Maybe wrong.
That's horrendous. Yeah, Jim Boyce, much fun. But yeah, no, that's where my work ethic comes from, really. When I look back at it, and because beforehand, like in school, like I was never motivated really to do anything.
Did you really enjoy school?
Yeah, I didn't, and I didn't enjoy the format of it, and even with gymnastics, like I like going, but I didn't really enjoy it because it was the individual side of it, and the way that we were pushed to try and move forward wasn't in a positive manner. Like I said, for me, it didn't feel like that. But with football, it was very different, and I found a real work ethic there, and a real place where I was consistent, and I showed up, and I got shit done, and 100%. But my big brother was being one of the reasons why I have that work ethic going forward, and also not just the work ethic, but work ethic's one thing, but it comes from a mental state. It comes from a place that you put yourself in, and this motivation, and motivation to win and to achieve, and to go. If you're going to do this, do it properly. Because if you're not, and that's one of the big things he's taught me. If you're going to do something, do it properly. There's no point in you showing up in half-hearted. What's the point? You're spending your time doing it anyway. The only person you're cheating is yourself.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, the only person you cheat is yourself when it comes to that. But yeah, I was going back to goalkeeping for a reason, and the reason is your actual skill set is so different. So we were talking about your reactions and your your positioning. It's such a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
But what you also have is similar to me in a sense, but you have an even better view of the game as a whole.
Oh yeah, I can see.
And you can see you. It's like you're in a weird sense. Although you're not moving the pieces, you're the person watching the chessboard because you can literally see every single piece in front of you moving. So for that, how does that for me when I think about it like that, and I think about how I would look at a game, I look at that about how I view conflicts and situations in my life now. So I take myself back from the situation and I look at it as if I'm sitting watching the game the same way as you would from being in goals.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's kind of corresponded as well in the same way that there's for me in the sense of like having the ability for where you played to look it forward and see everything for how it was?
Well, obviously I had a lot of time to think, because I'm not always like I'm switched on, but I'm not involved in everything that's happening in a game. So I do have that time to think, and I think just from obviously playing football, like more and more the years go on, you kind of your decision making and what you think's going to happen. Like I know like what was going to happen. Yeah. Most of the time, and thinking where the next pass was going to be, if he's going to cut back.
Yeah, because you've worked out all the options.
And so you kind of grasp from a team early on their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Which you can see that from the side. That's why.
100%.
You can see that. It's a lot harder when you're an outfield player, because you're just focusing on obviously your opponent, really.
Yeah. For me,
not the whole team.
For me, I found it 1v1 battles was easy for me.
Yeah.
Really easy for me because especially if it was a winger. I would, within the first 10 minutes of the game, I could tell you what was his preferred foot. I can tell you where he would rather run it. If he's a left-footed player, he's going to try and take it on the outside of me and cross it in the box. Yeah. If he's right-footed, he's going to try and cut it in. So then from that, I automatically know what side I'm saying. You'll know what I mean by this, but what side I'm jockeying from. Yeah. So am I pushing him out wide, or am I pushing him inside? If he's left-footed and he wants to go down the line, he's getting pushed inside. Because I don't want to be on that strong foot. I want to be uncomfortable in his weak. And a real great thing is we had two good centre halves most of the time.
We did.
Who I trusted, and I think trust is such an important thing in that environment. Because if you don't trust the players around you to do their job,
I think we're fortunate with that. Is when we didn't really change our back four.
100%. So which you have to have. It has. Yeah. And I think we go into another point I want to make is communication.
Yeah.
Communication is the most important thing you can have playing any sport or in any area of life. When you're doing it with other people. So when there's more than one person involved, and I learned this through playing football, is communication is so unbelievably important. Because without communication, one, you don't know what the other person is doing or going to do, and you don't know if what you're doing is necessarily the best option for the team as a whole. And without communication, it's just a shambles. Like it really is. And I haven't watched the game for the new team. That we'll get into that in a little bit, but still, I haven't watched the game for the new team. There's a lack of communication, and you see it. Yeah. You see it in the way they play. It's dysfunction. There's players that communicate within each other. Yeah. And you have the little bundles, which is great. Which is definitely a start and it's a progress. But when you're playing as a team, you have to have everyone communicating as a whole. Like obviously, if I'm playing in centre mid, I am communicating with a lot more people than I am if I'm playing right back. Because for me, the main two people I'm communicating with is whoever's in front of me and whoever's to my left. That's the two most important people. But being the captain, I was always communicating with everyone. You could be playing the opposite side of the park from me, the opposite corner, and if I had something to say to you, I was saying it to you. I would finish the game. I wouldn't be able to speak. No. Like I would have no voice left.
I could
fully. But communication is such an important thing. I think. But I take that from that because I understood the importance of it through playing football. When we come out of the football setting, and now when I look at communication in all areas of my life, I mean, this is literally like what I'm doing right now. The podcast is just communication. That's purely what it is. And when I said this to you earlier. When I look back at I didn't realise I had extra credit. Like I didn't do well in school, but when I look back, I realised, I have extra credits, and I read them. So I was filling out a CV, and I read them, and I went, I have extra credits for oral and written communication.
Who would have thought?
Exactly, who would have thought? And it makes so much sense now. It's like, of course I do. It's what I'm good at. It's what I'm gifted at. I'm gifted at being able to speak, and I'm gifted at being able to have a conversation and listen as well. Listening is something that took me a little bit longer to really learn properly.
I can agree with you on that one and relate as well.
100%, and I think that comes from a place of when I was leading, there were so few people that would not only speak up and have something back to say to me. Like I was, apart from like you and maybe one or two others, Jamie Boyce been another one. Apart from them. There was no one that would ever really speak to me and go, keep your head up. I had to be the one that was, I had to lead by example, which is what a leader is, someone who leads by example. But there was games, like everyone has them, where I'm like, fuck, this is not it.
Sorry, I was going to speak
Exactly, and at that point, that's where I feel you more than anyone in most situations.
More than Boise anyway.
He's gonna love watching this. This is brilliant. We love you, bud. But he's the better complete footballer.
Part of
the soul.
Can you track back if you wanted to be fair about that?
I asked his dad about that the other day.
Did you?
I popped in, I popped because it was as we were leaving to go to the game, and his dad was saying, I remembered about it. So I popped my head. I was like, "What's this you're saying, Jamie's a better footballer than me?" And I just had a laugh. It was a good laugh.
That's good.
But so I think the only thing we've not really touched on, unless there's anything
I think with going back to communication in the team is we were going back to obviously the core that we had. So with obviously you being right back, me being the goals, and Boise being left back, we kind of knew in a game and what we were going to do. So you would not love to, but you would play your position. You would
100%.
defender, you would play right back. Voice in your hand, left back, you would think.
Shit.
You would think.
You wouldn't know that, eh? You better take yourself off the field.
He was all the way up. He was all the way up, yeah. But we knew what he was going to do.
Yeah, that's
It would be different if we didn't know what he was going to do.
100% right there.
So
I think, you know what, I never even thought about that. The fact that we played in a triangle, the three of us, I never even thought about it like that until you mentioned that right there. And it makes a lot of sense because when you have the chemistry that we have between each other, because I've got friends, like I have great friends, but within those it's really one-on-one, most of those friendships. But when you have that triangle, it's such a different, like that three-way, it's such a different chemistry that you have. Because one of them, like Jamie, can go off and do his own thing for a bit, and me and you'll hold that shit at the back. And then vice versa, like I know that if I do have the ball and I push forward, not all the time, like he will sit.
He would try it.
He would sit. He would sit. And and we knew that, but like you said, we didn't have to tell each other after a point. I knew if he went forward, I'm talking.
Yeah.
But the great thing, I feel like you were a real, like in between communication. So like obviously I'm communicating to everyone just as you are and just as he is, but you're the distributor at the end of the day. So you decide where that play starts off. So most of the time it's going Jamie's side because
it would often land a wee bit short.
Yeah, we move though. We move.
It's improved,
but we move. I feel like you liked playing to the right more.
I don't know. I think I had a little bit more trust there. I don't know.
Oh no! Yes. The man's like here to defend. I'll have to get him on, and he'll be rinsing you for hours.
He'll be rinsing me.
Nah.
Coming small and all that. That's all you have.
Oh, that's another part I actually wanted to point out. I completely forgot about that now. You were tiny as a goalkeeper.
Oh,
most goalkeeper. You were the smallest player on our team by a good bit. What, you were like 5 foot nothing?
Nah, I was about 5'2". 5'4".
5'4".
Bro,
you're being generous yourself there.
Maybe, but anyway.
Alright, 5'3" we'll say. We'll be in the middle. 5'3". But for a goalkeeper, that is extremely small, especially to play.
Especially 11-a-side.
Especially to play 11-a-side, that is extremely small. And anyone who plays football has an understanding about football will know just that most goalkeepers, you're at least at the age group we're playing, you're going to be tall. At least 5'10".
Yeah.
At least.
I'm not even 5'10".
And you're not. And you're not.
I'm not.
You must be 5'8", 5'9"?
5'9".
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, which was something that always impressed me because I never once. I don't think, apart from maybe when we played like teams in a cup, there was never once that we played a team that I thought going into the game they've got a better goalkeeper than us.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And that's me being deadly serious. I was like, you're a pure ability, and it was really hard. Like heart was most of it, and your ability, like your lack of fear in front, like when someone's running towards you, that takes a different sort of level. And now as I'm saying this, I want to touch more on that. That the lack of fear, like you have to get rid of fear when someone's running at you full print and that ball's getting hit at you, full power, and like people, like we come up against people that can shoot a ball, like hard.
I'm not the biggest of guys.
No, exactly, and that's my point. And you're not. So when you're bigger, it's a different thing because you're having more of a physical presence. But when you have such a lack of physical presence, all due respect, like you did, you have to make that up for that by having a fat set of balls, to put it nicely. Like you really do, and. I played goalkeeper in goals for a tiny bit because my big brother was. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this as him. And I realised very quickly that no, you have to have a different sort of mindset to play in that position because you're throwing yourself about like you're a ragdoll. Like you're literally chucking yourself on the ground to stop a ball with the back of the net. Like that takes something.
Yeah, think about that.
There's something that you have to have inside you to be willing to put your body on the line more than anyone else in that park to win your game, and you did that week in week out and so consistently as well.
That's to do with the love and the passion for the game.
100%.
And with who I'm with.
100%.
Who I'm doing it with.
100%. Yeah.
And the journey we had with that team was brilliant. And then when we all decided to stop, kind of at the same time, who left first? I think it was
Was
me.
it me?
I think it was me.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
I don't think it was. I think it was. No, because there's no. Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
I actually can't remember now.
Anyway, we
I
left in the
actually
same
can't
kind of time area.
Within about the same month.
Yeah,
we
all.
You know what? I think you might be right. I think you had made the commitment, going, I'm not doing this anymore. And then when you left, I went,
Yeah.
nah, I'm just not interested in. And then Jamie did the same.
And that was just before.
Because for the last year, that was the only reason I went. Was for me, you and Jamie.
Yeah, I think we all kind of
100%. Like the football for me wasn't what it was anymore. It was the friendship that I had there, and it was getting to see the boys every week. Like that was the reason I went for it. Pretty much the entire last season until we all left. Yeah. And then we all left and didn't really speak to each other at all for like 2 and a bit years.
We didn't.
Let's touch on why, because at no point was there anything bad said. No. Like there was nothing there was no point at all where any of us had like agreed that oh this is it, like we're not speaking anymore. It just kind of happened. And I think the reason the drifted away is one, obviously the main time that we, like outside of football, we didn't do anything really. We did stuff now and then. Yeah. Like now and then, but it wasn't like a real occasion where we did stuff outside of football.
A lot to do that is with where we were living as well.
Oh, 100%.
So we were a lot closer together.
Yeah. We didn't drive as well. Well, starting to drive. Yeah.
Actually,
and I was learning. Well, yeah, no, I've been learning for a while. Yeah. But my test got moved like 10 times because of the joys of some stinky virus. We don't use the word because my video will get taken down. Totally joking, but yeah.
Well, I think that's the main reason.
Distance as well. But the fact that the only time we were really seeing each other was playing football, and that was taken away, so it kind of just drifted apart.
Exactly. We had our own stuff as well.
That's what I want to touch on now. That we've all went away and really kind of became I want to say become men in a sense, but like obviously like
we've kind of found ourselves.
Yeah, 100%, and we've all went off and like kind of figured out what we want to do with our lives, and now that we've all came back within the start of the year, really, not even that. Not even a couple of months. Something's just brought us back together. It was real out of the blue, real random. Like none of us had planned it. None of us had been like, "Oh, let's go." And it just kind of came together. The universe really went like, "Oh, lads, like you have a great friendship between you here. You've went away, done whatever you need to do. It's time you can come back together now and enjoy it."
No, definitely.
You know what I mean? And carry on. You were going to speak. I'll let you talk some words.
I think throughout, obviously when we all just left football, that was the time as well. We were just about to finish high school as well. We were moving on to
100%.
Our lives.
Yeah, like I moved over here, which is a good bit away. I moved over here, started not only going through like a real spiritual awakening, which like you're aware of now after having spoke, like this kind of real like. I don't know how you describe this, but like people like the phrase gets tossed about so much, spiritual awakening, but I don't think you describe it. It's just a realization of self and a realization of like a realization of self and a realization of like this stuff isn't like your reality is what you make it, and if you think negatively and you have this negative outlook, life's going to be negative. And if you keep it positive and like. Everything's not always sunshine and roses. Okay. But like, if you understand that when the times come along that aren't great, that there's always something that you can learn. There's always something you can take from it. There's always a positive from the situation, even when it seems like the most horrendous thing ever. There's always something there you can take that's positive for you moving forward. Like, the emotion that you feel towards the situation is never going to be amazing. And the negative emotions are some of the most beautiful ones, or what are described as negative, I should say, are some of the most beautiful ones, because that's where we realize that we have this true connection to things, and we're passionate about things. Like football, go back to football. When you lost a game, like it would fuck you up for days. Like I remember I going to school like Monday, Tuesday, and I'd just be like, fuck, I can't believe how bad that was. Like, it would really bug me right up and through until training, and I would use that as motivation as well. In training, I played bad. Like, I need to like sort my shit, like, get after it, kind of thing. And that's the same thing for all emotions in life. But what that allows you to do is realize just how much you love doing the thing you're doing.
Exactly, and we'll touch on that later on about where we are now.
Oh yeah, 100%. So what if, like, I know Arnold Weaver. I know that you went into coaching.
Yeah.
You kind of stayed with football, but tell me, by all means, because although we haven't really spoke for the last 2 years.
No, we haven't
at all.
So I'll lay it all out. Sometime.
Yeah, please do.
So basically, I got it was my first job. I was coaching a wee football team, local football team, and I was loving it. Getting paid to coach kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Play football.
the dream. It was the end of 6th year. It was the start of lockdown actually. So, throughout lockdown actually, I was not in a good way, to be fair. Bad routine. Yeah. Going to bed real late, waking up real late. I think everyone was kind of the same boat. But I kind of not surround myself with. I mean, I know now. I'm surrounding myself with the people I know and trust.
Yeah, the right people.
The right people.
Yeah, 100%. I'm working through the same process as well.
So I've noticed that now. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people, that just didn't understand me. Yeah. And I didn't understand me at the time, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you do that, it makes you become someone you're not very quickly.
Oh, 100%.
Because you have this, like, the whole thing I need to fit, like, I need to be liked. It's like, when you
Yeah.
think that, it's not good. It's not healthy at all.
Not at all. But so kind of COVID restrictions kind of eased. We're getting back out to coaching. Me and my boss at the time, we started a coaching business because it was real hitting off. Everyone wanted to get back to football. And it was something I was interested in.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it. I was also at university at the time, so I was doing sports studies because I was kind of not forced to go into uni, but I was like, I need to do something while I leave school. I need to do something. Well, I've got grades. I've got good grades.
Better than me. It wouldn't be hard though.
A wee TP at school, but we move on from that. We move on. So questionable. So so I was still in university doing sports studies, and it was all online. I'd never once set foot in the university. It was shit.
Yeah, that's it.
So I had no motivation at home to do the work. But anyway, getting sidetracked. So the coaching business, it was booming. I was doing a lot of social media for it, which is what I enjoy. And then obviously doing all the sessions.
Still trying to get you to that for me, I might add.
Try with you,
Will we move?
Nah, it's all learning.
No. I'm playing.
We'll talk about it.
With the tension, it'll come. It'll come. Yeah.
So we went from about 2 sessions a week to hitting 12, 13 sessions a week.
That's a lot in a week.
Full classes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I was kind of main guy, kind of doing the sessions, and I don't think we expected it to go as busy as this. Well, I could tell that my boss did. He was like, this is going to happen. And obviously at the time, I'm like, no chance.
So is this a private run?
Private limited company. It was called FK Academy, and I was the head coach. My other coaches involved that would help out in the sessions and stuff. But I would lead them from like preschool kids to about 6-7-year-olds. I really did enjoy the preschool kids, just the stuff they come out with.
Well, I remember because I did like very little bit of coaching, and it was with P1 to 3 girls. That was a shambles.
Shambles, wasn't it?
Oh man, P1 to 3 girls, like it was just hard to get them to get them to concentrate on what you're saying. It's a real challenge. Yeah, like
I think
because they lose attention so quickly. So quickly. So I'm intrigued to see how you better go with that.
I have a personality with. I'm not saying you don't have a personality.
No, I know.
I have a way with
a gift with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of parents love me as well. So like the kids looked up to me. They did. And I don't get me wrong. I do miss it. I really do miss it. But I know it's something I don't want to continue. Anyway, we'll go. I kind of jumped.
No. Yeah. I say you don't want to continue. You don't want to continue with the place you were at. Yeah. So to say. But I mentioned this to your mum the other day. Yeah. I was like, you could definitely go and start your own. What stops? Oh, obviously, like you're doing all things in the moment, and it can come whenever you want. Like you have plenty of time ahead of you. But if you enjoy coaching and you clearly are very good at it, clearly, like no two ways about it, and you also have now what you might not realize right now, but I see it, is that the way that you were, in a sense, the stuff you were made to do that you didn't want to do, you didn't sign up to do, has taught you so much about how to actually run a business like that. That you now have almost not all, but a lot of the skills you need to go, oh, I'll just do this myself.
Yeah, I could.
And by all means, I'm not just saying this, you would make a lot of money doing it. You really would. You really would. And I'm not saying go and start this next week.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only pointing this out because I know, looking at you and having spoke to you about coaching and stuff, that it's something you'd be very good at. And it's something that you could very easily do with the skill sets that you've learned. And obviously you want to go away and work on your digital media and all that kind of stuff, which is even more important when you're starting a business now in this day and age. So the way I look at it right now is that you're building your skill sets to inevitably do something you want to do, whether it is coaching or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you're building this skill set, which I feel like I've been through this process the last couple of years of kind of building my skill sets and building it for what I want to do, and that's to do this, and that's to talk to people and I don't like to use the word preach, but it is preaching to people.
Yeah.
It's preaching positivity and preaching love. And now that's fallen onto the new job that I've got and the kind of stuff I'm going to be doing there. It all the pieces of the puzzle comes together perfectly, and the universe has a plan in motion. And sometimes we're so busy rushing ahead that we don't see what's actually going for the bigger picture as well. Like when we stop and go, oh, I'm learning all of these things for a reason. Like I'm doing this, and as long as you enjoy doing what you're doing, to an extent, like you're obviously not going to enjoy every single second of it. But when you are enjoying what you're doing, there's a reason you're doing it, and it's so you can learn the skills that you need for whatever it is that's to come. There's always we don't see the bigger picture so much of the time, but the universe sees the bigger picture. The universe goes, there's so much more for you. You don't see it yet. I see it. I know what's happening here.
I agree.
And especially when you go through like your negative times as well, your times that are tough, because that's where you learn the most.
No, I agree with you, and I feel like I have learned. So I kind of went all downhill. I wasn't in a good place, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've obviously had a lot of fallout with friends and stuff. I mean, I had still have friends, but not near enough people I would speak to about how I was feeling.
Yeah.
So I kind of bottled it up, to be fair, and then I quit my job. I also quit my uni. I dragged that in to do the job, but I never enjoyed it. So I was unemployed.
Hey, welcome to the club.
Unemployed, and I had some money in the account, but obviously that's slowly starting to dwindle. Yeah. So I'm applying. I got COVID as well during December, so it was not. I'm playing. So I got that. Yeah. Got the virus. I got that in December during Christmas actually. However, I wasn't really planning much, but just all of it just came crashing down. I went through. I have a wee joke with my pals. I had a wee midlife crisis. I got a buzz cut.
I remember that.
I chopped.
I remember seeing a picture of that. I wasn't speaking to you at the time, but I remember seeing a picture of that.
Yeah.
I went, oh my god. Yeah, it's such a nice head of hair.
It's grow back.
It is.
It's coming.
It's grow back quick. But you always had such a nice head of hair. And I'll lose you with it. But you know what? What you might not realise, I actually see this because what you might not realise is that is an actual real statement doing that. It's like a reset. And it's not only just a reset for your hair, it's a reset for like the way you're looking at your life and your life as a whole.
Do you know what it is? Sorry to interrupt. It was actually a day after I quit my job as well. Yeah,
man. But you talk about it as like, and obviously it was emotionally, and it was a tough time for you. But I wonder now, looking back at it, if you can see it in hindsight, because I can see it when I look at it, is that those were real big steps for you moving into where you want to be, and the time in which you learn the most is those times there where you're feeling this like real unease and this like depression really, or like hence the depression and being upset, because you feel like you've lost everything that you had, but what you realise is that the things you had weren't what was best for you, and there's so much more out there that are so much more in line with what you really want that you can go get.
Exactly.
And which is really what I see happen for you now. You know, you're in a job that you enjoy, you work with great people, so that obviously funds, you know, life.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got to make some money somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you've also now started applying for your media courses and all these things. Your journalism, was it media and journalism?
Journalism and film and media.
Journalism, film and media. Which is something you're really passionate about, 100%.
Yeah, and I literally, after obviously this all happening, quit my job, all that, I had to sit and think to myself throughout the 2 weeks of isolation, like, right, what do I actually want to do with my life?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to come up with an answer, I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, what do I enjoy doing? What do I like doing? What do I see myself doing? And it's pick up my camera, record, explore. That's what I want to do, just explore the world. Sounds cringy, but
no, it absolutely is not, because that for me, although I'm about to start a new job, one of the big stipulations for me starting this job was that I want, I almost have to travel, because especially now at the age I'm at, I have such a desire to go and see the world.
Oh, I'm on
such a desire to go and see the world, and not just like. I have no real interest in like all the touristy stuff. Which should be the same because we spoke about this.
Yeah.
No real interest in like going to like Ibiza and like all these, none whatsoever. I want to go like ancient monuments, pyramids, nature, like seeing what the culture of these places are really like.
Different cultures, definitely.
And the job that I've started, or starting I should say, looks like, and I believe it, I trust the universe, it will. I spoke to some people there, and they're like, all very positive things, but I'm going to get to travel with this job. Obviously not like straight away, I've got to get myself a feel for the like place and what I'm really going to do, and I actually don't want to just go away and travel off the bat. Like, I have no interest through that. I want to spend a good period of time, you know, really getting to know the ins and outs of like everything, everyone there, and actually getting to spend time helping people before I go and start doing what I won't touch on it, because, you know, it is what it is. It's not to come yet. It's in the future.
Exactly. Whatever's
going to happen will happen. But yeah, one of the big things I said to him was like, look, if I'm going to come work there, I need to be able to travel. I need to be able to, because it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm at the age now where it's perfect for me. It really is. Like, I'm at the age where I want to. I'm young. I'm in like a good space, in the best frame of mind I've ever been in, and it can only grow. And my mindset and my way I view life can only get better from here. Like, I hit a real turning point at a stage last year where it was like, you can't go back. Like, you're obviously, life's a up and down flow of emotions, and like how you're feeling, and like stages and points. It's always going like this. Like, it's never just going to be like wee. But what you can do is that you can go up and still go like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of people, they're either sit just like that and they don't go up. They're just static. Which is, for me, like, good example is that when you have like the same job that you don't really enjoy, but it makes you good money and it allows you to do the things you want to do. It's like, yeah, it's all right. It's great, because you get to go on like 2 holidays a year or whatever. And if you're truly, truly happy with that, which there will be some people, then by all means do it. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, if you really love the job that you do, but you're static and you're just going through the motions. Whereas if you're constantly putting your intention to making improvements and bettering yourself, you're going through the motions, but you're going up as you're going through the motions. And vice versa, you can also go like that. Like, if you have that mindset, like, everything's shit, nothing's bad. But when I say that, you're also going like that. In a sense, you're not, because by going to those places, you'll learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You'll learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think from obviously what's happened, I've learned so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 100%. So much. Like, you look back on it, and I mean, I'm glad it happened. I would change it.
Same. That's I think a great point for me is someone goes like, I was speaking to someone about my childhood, and, you know, like, my parents splitting and like me being in hospital and all that, and they're like, oh, that sounds horrible, I bet you wish you could change it. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't change a thing, because every single experience I've been through has made me exactly who I am today, and I love who I am. I love what I've achieved. I'm so proud of myself for what I've achieved. I'm so grateful for the relationships I have with all my friends and family. Like, they're the people I love, the people I love and care about the most. I love everyone, like, to an extent. I love for everyone, I have time for everyone. As long as you respect mine, respect my time, and you show me some love in return. But like my family and my close friends, I've never had better relationships with all of them than I do right now. There's a couple of people that I would like to, maybe spend a bit more time with or whatever, but that's at my discretion on the whole. Like, obviously, it also depends on them if they're willing to as well, and they've got time. Yeah, exactly. But it's my intent. Like, for me, at the moment in time, I want to spend a whole lot more time with you and Jamie, which we're going to start doing without us even having to make time. The time's been made for us, which I think we'll jump into in a second. But yeah, it's a real great space, and I like I said, I wouldn't change a thing, all because all these things that are so-called negative. Like, for me, having cancer was the best thing that's ever happened to me, which is so fucked for most people to think about it. Like, they're like, what the fuck? Just throwing that statement out there, people are like, what the fuck? But it gives me an appreciation of life that most people don't have. It gives me this appreciation of just how valuable life is and how precious it is that most people don't get unless they have an experience like that where everything's taken away from you in an instant, like overnight. No, it wasn't even overnight. It was literally within the space of a couple hours. They were like, pack your bags, go to the hospital. You've got this, that, and the next. And I'm here for 9 months. In and out. Can't leave the building for 9 months. Like, it takes all your social life, friends, school. I was young when this happened as well. Everything goes out the window. Like, this can happen.
It's like a reset.
Fully, but in a way that's so different and bizarre. Like, when I look back, I don't remember much. I know why. It's because it was a very traumatic time, and I don't like to think of it as. And although I'm sitting here talking about it as like it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, in the moment it wasn't great. Like, it was a shit. Like, it was not fun.
You wouldn't want it to happen.
No. 100%. Like, I wouldn't wish on anyone. But for me personally, having gone through it, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it gives me this appreciation of life and how valuable time is. Like, which. Me saying that's great. Like, I procrastinate more than I should. Like, we all have things that we know that we need to improve on. We should and shouldn't do. But we know them. But we're like,
exactly.
So what? I'll chill. Like, I'll chill. I'll do nothing today. Like, it's alright.
So it's okay to do that.
Which you're 100% right in saying that. 100% right. But when you're doing it every day, it's not okay.
No.
Because you need to have a balance. Like, if you go hard all week and you're like one of the days in the week, you're like, I'm just not feeling it. Like, give yourself that leeway by all means. Like, let yourself, because your rest is just as important as your grind. Your rest is so important, and like your time just to decompress and like not do anything is so important. But I value my time in a very different way. So when I am I think that's why I was so motivated in football, of going like, if I'm gonna be here, I may as well do the best I can.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with all things in my life now. And I'm still working towards like improving that every single day, and I'm nowhere near where I know I can be. But it's a real beautiful thing. But yeah, I guess we'll jump into where we're at now and how and what we're doing now. I guess that's probably the way to segue. We spoke about. Is there anything you want to touch on before we move on to that? Because we've spoke about a lot of different things here. We've covered a lot.
Definitely. I would just say I just wouldn't change anything what's happened.
100%.
In the moment, as you said, you would love it to be different and be better, but you look back on it and you're thinking, I'm glad it's happened, because it's made, literally, as you said, who you are today. And right now, what we're going to talk about is I'm loving who I am right now. I honestly would not change it.
I see it, I really do. I see it, it's beautiful to watch. You know what I mean? But knowing the person that you were at football, you've got this massive heart. You always have.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You do. You have this massive heart. You're very similar to me in that sense.
Yeah. I think that's why we bounce
So
off.
100% is why we get on so well. Oh, there we go. Stop it. No, you're 100% right though. We are very similar in a lot of areas. 100% why we get on so well and why we bond and bounce off each other so well. Surprisingly though, which is a weird thing for me, Jamie's similar, but he's out of the two of us, I think he's definitely the most different, but a different way. I'm not saying it's not a negative by any means. He's very much more academic and he thinks things through a lot differently than we do. And I think it's also down to the way his mind works. But that complements us extremely well as well, which when you think about like personality traits, you would think, but I think it comes back to, there's actually the yin and the yang sign on that box. But it comes back to the yin and the yang, like he balances it out really well, and I loved so much time for Jamie.
100%.
Amazing guy. Amazing, truly amazing. I know we're sitting here running the piss out, like he knows it's all joking games. And I'm so glad that the three of us have been brought back together. I really have. And even you sitting there right now, I know you have no intent of this at all, but you're sitting there with a triangle. It's now just thinking of, it's making me think.
This is all happening.
Yeah, exactly, man.
No,
exactly, 100%.
Do you know, that's how we thought as well when we were thinking about that. I would not be doing this right now about a year ago.
Oh, no, neither would I though. Like that's the thing is, I knew about a year and a half ago I wanted to do a podcast at some point. Like I knew that it was something I was interested in, and I'd spent thousands of hours listening to podcasts without even really realizing why until now, obviously, because I learned how the conversation was formed, how it flows, and I learned how to edit it, and I realized that I don't want to edit my videos, like really edit them. I don't want to have it cut and chopped and changed. Yeah, I like it when it flows because it's natural.
Yeah,
and people like that. And like even the bit there earlier on where you were like fuck because you forgot what you said. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave that because it's natural. Like, we all go through these points where we make those little mistakes and we're human. And if you cut that out, it stops people from seeing that, and they think the conversation just flows with this
exactly
this real grace. Like, oh, these guys are so good. Like, no, we're not. We're just two guys talking over a table with some average lighting and an okay microphone, which will be improved. 100% will be. But yeah, we'll try and wrap this up a little bit. Because I think we must be a bit ahead of the hour mark.
That's right. I'm enjoying it.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it as well. 100%. I'm very, very grateful for you doing this, by the way.
Oh, no.
It means a lot.
Should have done it earlier, but
that
man was dying.
Standard. It happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
As all things do. So yeah, our new venture not only as a friend group but as individuals as well. And it's real weird because we all have our own reasons for kind of getting back into it.
Yeah.
Obviously the main one being that we all missed football.
Yeah.
So we're all joining a team together.
Mm-hmm. We had played.
Yeah.
Last Friday.
You played last Friday.
And it was a setback.
No, it wasn't. It was a step forward.
Well, yeah. It could have. Sorry, I've rephrased that.
Yeah.
It could have been a setback.
Oh yeah.
But because the person I am now.
Oh, that's a very excellent point. So beforehand, if you got 11 goals put past you, which got beat 11-0. Which is never great to throw that out there.
No,
but you haven't played football in 2 years, and especially in that environment or in goals. So for me, as far as I was aware, there's no expectation whatsoever at all for you to do anything.
And that could have thrown me off. I could be like, no, I'm not doing
100%.
Never again.
100%. But watching you play, your kicking was better than it's ever been, which I was surprised at, but it also wasn't because your mum was like, oh, he's been playing fives in outfield. So you've still been moving the ball, and you've also been doing training, you're coaching as well. So you're still been involved with football to an extent. But it was the way you handled yourself and the way you handled the situations. I'm watching you, like your head's staying high, like you've conceded 6 goals, and in the past, you conceded 6 goals, you were gone. You were gone. The game, like you were, like you would beat yourself up. You wouldn't speak to anyone after the game. You would give your mum some silent treatment or attitude in the car.
I feel so bad.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember I was in the car with you a couple of times after we got beat. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh shit.
Poor Wendy.
Yeah. No.
But now, like, you handle it perfectly. Afterwards, we went out and had a laugh. Like,
Exactly. That was one of the best nights.
After 100%. After a 11-0 defeat, like you'd be surprised. But at the same time, like we were not happy with the result.
No, of course not.
Like, I wasn't playing.
I was angry. I was always frustrated.
But what you now look at it very differently. And I noticed that is you look at it as that you can only grow from there. Exactly. You can only get better from there. Which if you have that mindset, it's a completely different ball game, man. It really is. And like for me, I went to training. You obviously were unwell, so I went by myself on the Monday, and I'm unfit. To put it politely, I'm unfit. Like I haven't played football in 2 years, but I haven't ran in 2 years properly. And for me, the big reason for me getting into football was like I wanted to do something for my fitness. I miss football, yeah, and I love it. And I realised that when I went on Monday. I realised just how much I missed it. And I also missed the friendship that we have with playing football, me, you, and Jamie, which we're now getting back, which is incredible. You told me this a year ago. I would have went, us playing football again together. Yeah. That'll be right, especially because of the distance between us all.
It's our age as well.
Yeah,
it's not boys football anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's not boys football. It's a real competitive environment now. And we were already in that, but it's a lot more competitive, a lot more physical as well.
It gives us something to look forward to and also better ourselves in.
100%. It gives you structure.
Yeah. That's something I'm looking forward to.
100%. But yeah, so I went to football on Monday. I showed up, great group of boys, great coaches. The coaches were I spoke to coaches straight off the bat when I got there on the Monday. For like 5 minutes, and I was really impressed with their attitude and the way they want to do it. And the club's not been together for that long. I think 8 months or six to 8 months, something about there. So it's a very new group of boys that have come together, which is really interesting for me. So yeah, I'm running about it. I'm spewing my load.
When you told me, I was like,
coughing up everywhere. Yeah. After like 10 minutes, they're like, but I gave it all. I know that because I was throwing up. And I said,
he's seen that as well. Recognise that.
Yeah. The coach was saying that to me. He's like, look, you got some work ethic. Yeah. And it goes back to like the way I always treat it. And now my mindset going into it is so different. I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, oh my god, like I don't realize how good I'm about to be, because, and I don't mean that into my own horn. No. But I am. I happily will, because I've got confidence in myself and I know how committed I'm going to be to this. That I am to this. Yeah. But when I look back, like I was decent for our level and when we played at Son Albion, I was decent and I was motivated most of the time. But as an individual, my mindset was horrendous. Like I walked out of there, football was my life. Like that was the only thing I gave a shit about at that time, really. In and out of like girlfriends here and there or whatever. Football was the only thing that I really put my time into and my effort into, because it gave me something to work towards. But because I went away and done my work for myself and really got myself to a place, I know now going into this that my mindset approaching this, not only as an individual but as a team, different gravy. Yeah. Like it really is.
I can't wait.
Like I'm so excited to really get into this. Yeah. And once I've got myself to a place where I'm really I know I've sat and visualized how I want my body to look. Like how I'm like, alright, nice. Like that's how I think I'm gonna look. Like, and how I'm gonna be able to perform. Like I know how I want to be able to. I know that this time round, I want to be a lot more like comfortable on the ball going forward, because I've never had that, and I think that comes purely from self-confidence.
You know where you can get that from? Jamie Boyce.
Because Jamie Boyce is an elite level player going forward. So he had that ball at his feet and the boy would move it left or right, silky.
Unstoppable.
Did I say right? My bad, he didn't have a right foot.
He didn't have a right foot.
The boy could not play a pass with his right or touch.
Oh god.
You would say otherwise though. No, but I was horrendous with the ball at my feet. I really was, and I got scared whenever I got the ball at my feet.
I feel like, remember that game that got televised? Bridge Vallon.
Oh yeah.
I made that wee montage.
Oh, there's a video of that minutes ago where I set a ball in his ass.
You did. You actually flattened him.
It's because he dribbled past me twice. And I caught him after he dribbled past me, but I was like, I'm not allowing it. Like I said to myself there, I was like, he does not get past me again.
It looks hilarious.
Not only is this on video, but so I'm going to be able to watch this back and know that he got past me twice. I was like, if he gets past me a third time, 3 and done. Like I've lost that battle. Like that's a mental battle with this guy I have. And he wasn't a great player, but he was quick hit and he knocked it past me.
Yeah.
And I was like, if he goes again and he knocks that ball past me, he's getting put on the floor. Like I was just like, it just is what it is. It's business. It had to be done.
It had to be done.
It's such a brilliant video, man. It's
hilarious.
So good. It's so good.
I don't know if we can put it in, but
I wonder if that's a good point. I might be able to. If I can, I'll edit it. That's very good. If I can, that's funny. So true. I'll edit that in for sure if I can.
I just saw that. That was kind of like last season. The last season of.
Was that?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Maybe. We'll look at time. We'll look at time scale.
I honestly don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
yeah. So a new adventure for me, you, and Jamie. Really glad to see Jamie's hopped on board.
100%.
Really glad.
It's made my week. To be fair,
100%. Like I was real happy me and you were doing it. And then when he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna do it," and then he's coming along to training as well tomorrow. I'm like, yes, nice. Really excited for that. That's gonna be good. But yeah, I think that's all we have. We have to touch on today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
I don't know. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really
love to be on more, but
I'll have you on again. Don't you worry. I'll have you on again. We'll come back in a couple of months once we start tearing up.
Of course.
What league is it?
I don't know.
Well, once we start tearing up the league.
Oh yeah.
And we get that line coming out a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was it. Anyway, we don't talk about it.
We
don't talk about it.
We grow. But yeah. Thank you so much, Ethan. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you very soon.
I'll see you very soon.
Thanks. That was shit hot, by the way.
Come on.
That was shit hot.
Come on.
So I hope you all enjoyed. That was me and Ethan French going back and forth for about an hour. A lot of good conversation in there. I hope you all have a brilliant week. I hope you all had a really good weekend. And like I said, if you want to catch me on anywhere else, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, all under the Divine Love Podcast. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask, leave a comment or drop me a message on any of these platforms and I'll get back to you. Thank you very much.